Welcome to The Edit with your host, Vivian Cole. Brought to you by Vogue Media Agency, the podcast where branding, visibility, and influence are curated with intention. Each week, we cut through the noise to explore strategy, storytelling, and what it really takes to build a brand that's seen, heard, and remembered.
Welcome to The Edit. I'm Vivian Cole. Today, we're editing Niche Branding and the power of focused positioning to attract aligned audiences and strengthen your market presence. Because one of the most common reasons brands struggle is not a lack of quality, talent, or effort. It's a lack of focus. Many brands believe growth comes from appealing to more people, more audiences, more offers, more messaging. But the reality is this: the brands that grow strongest are the ones that choose who they are for and who they are not. Niche branding is not about limiting yourself. It's about clarifying yourself. When you try to speak to everyone, no one feels directly addressed. Your message becomes diluted, your positioning becomes vague, and your brand becomes easy to overlook, even if your work is excellent. Focused positioning creates recognition. Recognition is what allows your brand to stand out in crowded markets. It's what makes someone say, "This is for me," instead of, "This is interesting, but not urgent." Niche branding begins with understanding that specificity builds trust. When your message is clear and precise, people assume expertise. They feel seen. They feel understood. And that emotional connection is what drives engagement and loyalty. Strong brands don't ask, "How can we attract everyone?" They ask, "Who do we serve best?" That question changes everything. It shapes your messaging. It refines your offers. It influences your tone, visuals, and voice. Focused positioning allows your brand to speak with confidence instead of explanation. One of the biggest fears around niche branding is the fear of exclusion. The idea that by narrowing your focus, you'll lose opportunities. But in practice, the opposite happens. Clarity attracts. Confusion repels. When your brand is clearly positioned, the right people lean in. They don't need convincing. They recognize themselves in your message, and that recognition shortens decision cycles. Aligned audiences convert faster because they feel understood. Niche branding also strengthens market presence by making your brand memorable. In a sea of generalists, specialists stand out. When people know exactly what you're known for, they remember you, and they refer you. Referral power is built on clarity. If someone can't easily explain what you do and who you're for, they won't recommend you confidently. Focus gives your audience language. It gives them certainty. Focused positioning also allows brands to go deeper instead of wider. Depth builds authority. When you commit to a niche, you can develop more meaningful insights, more relevant content, and more refined solutions. Your expertise compounds because you're not constantly shifting direction. This depth is what separates thought leaders from service providers. Niche branding doesn't mean you never evolve. It means you evolve intentionally. As your audience grows, your message can expand, but it expands from a clear foundation, not from uncertainty. Strong brands anchor themselves first, then scale. Another advantage of niche branding is alignment. When your positioning is clear, your marketing feels easier. Content creation becomes more focused. Sales conversations feel natural. You spend less time convincing and more time collaborating. Alignment reduces friction across your entire brand ecosystem. Niche branding also protects you from burnout. When you try to serve everyone, you end up managing conflicting expectations. When you serve a clearly defined audience, your systems, messaging, and boundaries become stronger. Boundaries are part of brand strength. Focused brands say no more often, and that's a good thing. They protect their positioning by declining opportunities that don't align. Over time, this discipline builds credibility. Now let's talk about perception. A brand with focused positioning appears more confident, even if it's smaller. Confidence attracts attention. Confidence builds trust, and trust is what strengthens market presence. People don't gravitate toward brands that feel uncertain about who they are. They gravitate toward brands that lead with clarity. Here's your reflection moment. If someone encountered your brand for the first time today, would they immediately know who it's for? Would your message feel specific or general? Would the right audience feel drawn in? Or would everyone feel mildly interested? If your positioning feels broad, niche branding needs an edit. Because focus is not a weakness, it's a strategic advantage. Niche branding doesn't shrink your impact. It sharpens it. It allows you to attract aligned audiences, strengthen your reputation, and build a presence that's recognized, remembered, and respected. That is the niche branding edit. You've been listening to The Edit. To refine your positioning and build a brand that attracts the right audience with clarity and confidence, visit voguemedia.us.
Thanks for listening to The Edit with Vivian Cole, brought to you by Vogue Media Agency. Be sure to subscribe for more insights, share this episode with your network, and join us next week for another conversation on building brands with clarity, confidence, and impact. Visit voguemedia.us.
Vogue Media Agency offers comprehensive services to help small to medium-sized businesses, faith-based and nonprofit organizations, content creators, and entrepreneurs establish and grow their online presence. Focusing on website design, landing pages, social media management, podcast training, branding, weblog creation, and public relations, Vogue Media Agency provides a convenient one-stop solution for clients looking to elevate their digital footprint. What sets us apart is our personalized service and niche expertise. We are your marketing consultants. Contact us today.
To contact Vogue Media Agency, call 212-470-2730 or visit voguemedia.us.